Welcome to Find You Fridays. It's me, Lorene. How are we going today? Oh, we're missing a light. That will help things. There we go. Oh, I love it. Still working on things. Yum, yum. All right. So let me just jump over and do this background stuff just for a moment. And then I can really focus on you guys because I love you fellas. Because you guys are so cool. Okay, we will open it up. And we'll go. Yay! Happy days, happy days. All right. Hi, Melinda. Hello, gorgeous one. Hi, Tamara. Thank you so much. Thank you for my congratulations on my new home. I'm loving it. It's different. It's hot. No, it's not really hot. I can have air conditioning going here, which is lovely. I feel very fortunate to have some really great air conditioning, but it's been a very hot week, as you all know. So a couple of weeks really, and it's fun. It's fun and games, you know. It's what we do around here. Apparently, we move and we do lots of fun and interesting things. So hopefully everything is working all right and we're not getting any strange feedback or anything weird like that. So I think I actually wish to change something to here. There we go. Yeah, I like that better. All right. Oh dear. So for those of you who are here today, some of you may be following me on Facebook, some of you may not. Let's talk about the big fat elephant in the room. It's Valentine's Day. And a lot of people are of that opinion of it's just, it's another, what did they say? A corporate type holiday thing. It's commercialized. There we go. I remembered the word commercialized. It's just another reason for people to get out and spend money and be like it's an excuse for some males or females to only really shower their loved one with gifts. You know, it's like it's that funny reminder to some people. Oh yeah, it's Valentine's Day, or oh yeah, it's Christmas, or oh yeah, it's their birthday. Hallmark holiday is another one for it. Thank you, Jazzy. That's very true. And I've always felt a bit wonky about it, and it turns out that if we go right back into history, and this so made sense to me once I came across it. There's a guy called Josiah Fraser, I think is his last name. He does the sort of he's often has glasses, and he goes, you know, that with his hands, I should say, and he did a little video this year around Valentine's Day and why it's actually not that great a holiday, and the origins of it. So it's it's not great. It's not great, and I think given where I'm at with my feminine healing, I can honestly say now why I have felt so wonky, lovey, like trying to get into the lovey thing, and then always being bitterly disappointed when my partner at the time didn't do anything at all. And because they felt like it was a Hallmark holiday. It was a nothing thing. It was blah, 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 blah. And for me, it was like, but hang on a minute. Isn't this a moment for you to acknowledge that you care for me? Like, there's loads of resources around you to do this. Like, and I was talking with a friend of mine about some of my most memorable Valentines have actually been the ones where, say, my partner and I had almost no money at the time. We were just starting out in life, and he'd picked off of the side of the road, and it was far more memorable to me and meaningful than it was to have like a dozen roses. It's not that a dozen roses isn't lovely. It really truly is. However, to me, it really truly is the thought. Hi, Juanita. And the thought that goes behind something, the fact that he had physically gone out and bent over and picked each one of those flowers meant more to me than him just driving up to, you know, a petrol station or a supermarket or something and just picking up something that somebody else had grown. So yeah, it doesn't have to be big in my world. It's just, it's an acknowledgement. And I'm of a very interesting place with the whole Valentine's Day thing this year, of going, you know what? I think I would rather just continue being absolutely loving and gorgeous with the people that I really truly care about all the time, as I already do, and not necessarily have to be big and bold on this particular day. And that's about where I'm sitting with it at the moment. I still respond in kind. So same thing of like, if somebody says to me, like every now and then I come across a deeply religious person and they'll say, God bless. And I'll be like, thank you, you too. I'm not of the type of faith that says that to someone else. That's not my jam as such, but I'll still be respectful. So if somebody wishes me a happy Valentine's Day, which has happened today, I'm like, thank you, gorgeous. Thank you. You too. And the reasoning, if you hop over onto my Facebook page, you'll see the video there from Josiah. And you'll see why I'm like, I can't really talk about it on here because I am live streaming into YouTube, and YouTube is a bit funny about certain words being used. But basically, I'll put it in the very simplest terms. Back in the ancient Roman times, on this particular day, they used to line up women and have them completely unclothed. Thank you, Holly. And then would proceed to, I think you can say whip. Yep, you could, and they would proceed to whip them, and then have a whole bunch of naked men. Whether the women wanted that or not. And they were, basically taken advantage of, because the men believed that should they do this to the women, that it would make the men more fertile. And then we fast forward a little bit, and there was two men who were Saint Valentine, who were publicly hanged on that same day, 2 different years, for having different opinions to the church. So take from that what you will. I think as we do our healing, especially as women, and these little bits of information that pop up like this that kind of make you go, that explains a lot about why, as a woman, I find it difficult sometimes. I find it difficult to trust. I find it difficult to trust myself. I find it difficult to trust men. I find it difficult to trust the society. I find it difficult to trust men in authority, whether that be your doctor, your lawyer, the government, whatever it is. So I get it. I get it. So in honor of all of that, I actually do have a candle lit back there. It has, if I remember rightly, lily and sandalwood. No, tulips and sandalwood. And I just thought, what a beautiful little honoring we can do today of all the women past, present, and future who have been in relationships that weren't so healthy. To all of us who have had relationships who have ended, and to everyone who has been in positions where they haven't had their bodies honored. I would like to say this candle is for all of us throughout this lifetime or any other lifetime, in the hopes that today we can do some healing around that area in the honor of a candle and with us coming together. So I know, unfortunately, for so many of us, we have been in situations where our bodies have not been honored, whether it is a random stranger or somebody not so strange to us, maybe a close familial person or whatever. There are far too many of us who have been in situations where we have not been honored. And so as much as everybody would love me to probably be all lovey-dovey today, I just feel like this is a chance for us to do something a little different and remind ourselves that even though these things have happened, we are still here and we are together. We are thriving together. We're not just surviving, we are thriving. And I wish for all of us to just be honoring of that today. So whether you're single, whether you're a couple, whether you're dating, whether you're monogamous, whether you're polyamorous, it doesn't really matter. And thank you, beautiful ladies, for lighting a candle also. I feel really different about Valentine's Day. And the fact that it's come so close to a full moon just really resonates big. There's some big changes that are happening in the world. And I can feel this energy. It's just like, yes, this feminine energy is really ramping up big time. And I'm deeply in my feminine moon time today. I had to go and have a rest before coming in here today because I was like, I've been out all day, traveling around, hanging out with one of my very dear female friends. And then I was just like, yeah, my body is saying, through cramping, going, yeah, girl, you need to go lie down. So I was like, okay, I'll go do that for a while. And it's cool. So this is going to be a very interesting show. And I look forward to seeing where we go today. So, hi, Catherine, and hi, Edwina. Hello, beautiful women. I feel very fortunate that I have such a very strong women following. Yeah. Oh, mine's been going all bloody week, but today is just slammed with the heavy day. So I'm just like, okay, that's cool. Thank you, body, for waiting until I was on my day off. I appreciate that. Nothing worse than having the heavy day on during your work week. It's not cool. All right, so let us get into our weekly reading. see how we go. Anyway, I hope you all had not too bad time with the full moon. I honestly feel like it was a big full moon this year, this month. It was like, it just felt a lot more intense. And I don't know if it's just because I was very aware of it or what, but there was some big energies going on. And I'm like, cool. Awesome. So Ina's come out to play. We love Ina. I wonder when my next set of cards is going to come to me. I haven't got a pull to get another set yet, but I get the feeling that it will happen over the year. There will be another set coming to me at some point. So this is, of course, for the 15th through to the 21st of February. So just pulling out some cards for the collective, for all of us, and seeing just how we can work with these energies. We get a bit of a reprieve this week from all of those intensities of the full and the new moons. Oh dear, Juanita, it's a bit of a long way for you to catch up with me now. I've run away. Okay. See how we can work with these beautiful energies. Oh, we must be having a change in star sign on the 18th. Ooh. Would that be correct? Yes, we're moving into Pisces. I love my new calendar, my new diary, my moon diary. It's very handy to have. So as we move from Aquarius into Pisces, see what energies can pop up for us. Cool. Only north is your hood. Well, I'm here. Okay, let's see how we go for this week to come. What do we have to be aware of? So this is an interesting card to pop up, given that we have today what I've already talked about, with it being the 14th of February. The first card that has actually come up is Enhance Your Intimate Relationships. Hi, Chantel. Deeper connections await. So all of the resistance and the reaction that we've been having, because it's February 14th and everything that all the commercialized peoples have tried to make it for us, and everywhere that we've resisted and reacted to that, let's just let it all go and remind ourselves of why we love the people we love. It's not for the gifts that they give us, unless that's your love language. It's this week coming is the time to just really dive into remembering why you love who you love, and being with that person or those people, and just making time. Time is our greatest, most precious resource, and that we can give. And it doesn't cost us anything financially, but our time is very precious, and it is the most meaningful. So enhancing your intimate relationships. And yes, Juanita, loving with yourself. I spoke last week, I spoke about really, truly loving you as you would a lover. So when we go to so much effort for everybody else, we go to so much effort in when we first start a relationship, we will send them pretty songs and we will send them happy little memes and all these things. And yet we don't do that for ourselves. We will instead often judge ourselves to the ends of the earth and back. We will pick ourselves apart in the mirror. And it's like, well, how about we don't do that anymore? How about you enhance your intimate relationship with yourself, including your loved ones? But yes, with yourself. It's very, very important. Because as it says there, the deeper connections do await you. And that your skills, your capacities, your brilliance comes with an even deeper connection to yourself. It comes through with a lot more confidence and strength because you are confident in yourself. You love yourself unconditionally and really truly embrace the unconditional aspect of love. The easier it is to embrace those new skills and capacities as they pop through, because it then becomes a learning phase again. And the learning phase means that we end up having to just rejigger things in our brains a little bit and let go of stuff that's no longer serving us and all those sorts of things. So here we go. We've got assimilate your experiences and incorporate and invigorate. So this card is encouraging us to not look at our past as being a bad thing or a good thing. It's not something that we need to sit there and keep picking at like a wound or a sore. It's not about judging other people. It's not about blaming other people for the good, the bad, the ugly. So often we get into a habit of, and this is myself included, which is why in the 4 agreements, and the first one is to be impeccable with your word. I have been trying this. I have tried really hard this week to be impeccable with my word. And I'll honestly say I have fallen into the trap of trying to connect with other people by talking about drama stuff, things that have gone wrong. And I found throughout the week that I've managed to go into this point of just going quickly, and then coming into and spending way more time on the good stuff, the things that are going really well in my world, the things that I'm super duper grateful for, and being far more effusive with that. And I'm not a big fan of trauma drama, and certainly not in my world, which is why when it does pop up, I'm just like, rah! This is like throwing me for a bit of a sixer. But one of the things that I've noticed with my body this week is that the more that I have allowed myself to just sort of go, okay, that's cool. That was a part of that chapter. I know that there's still some energy to process with that, and I'm happy to do that, but I don't have to contribute to that energy anymore. I'm good to stop talking about it now. I'm looking forward to perhaps in the next week or so getting my bars run because I've actually got the time and space to do it now. Like I've got the house is settled. Things are sort of working through with my work car and all of that sort of jazz, and things are just starting to calm down in my world. And so I'm grateful for that. It's been a very intense few weeks, and I've noticed that my cortisol levels are now starting to come down, and I'm feeling a lot more settled within myself, and so naturally my weight is starting to come down again. Thank goodness for that. And I can see things from different points of views now, rather than just my own very limited, small point of view. It's like I'm seeing things from a broader scale now, which is lovely, really lovely. So assimilate your experiences over this coming week. It's that whole thing of just going, okay, I review that. Cool. What else do I have to do to help move those energies through, to heal, to shift through this grief process, whether it be anger, sadness, disappointment, whatever the energies are coming up in there for you. So just have a look at that. Maybe you require some counseling or healing or whatever it is. Some time in the bush. The next card that we've got is to value your uniqueness. The world awaits you. So again, we're back to this first card where it's talking about, you know, enhancing your intimate relationship. The most intimate relationship you have is with yourself, and valuing your uniqueness, seeing the things that make you as valuable and not a wrongness, as a strength and not a wrongness, is just one of the most profound things you can do. So one of my many strengths is the fact that I have excellent customer service. I always have. I've always been able to connect with people in a way that is, I find it so easy, but at the same time, other people go, they either lean into it and they go, wow, how did you do that? Or they get resentful and spiteful about it. And because it's like, oh, your friendliness is fake or whatever. It's like, no, it's not fake. It's just me. It's like, no, I like to know what makes people tick and I like seeing people happy. What can I say? I make the perfect customer service person. And I don't tend to lose my shit. And one of the things that's literally popped up in my world tip this week was I gained a little cold sore. Now, if I was to have a look at our lovely Ina Segal here, she'll tell you cold sores are all about unexpressed anger and not feeling like your voice is being heard very well. And I was saying to my work colleague yesterday that if I had have lost it as many times over the last 3 weeks as I would have liked to, I wouldn't have gotten things done as easily as I did. Was it frustrating? Yes. Was it, you know, there were some cases where I literally couldn't talk to or lose my crap at the person that was actually the one that gave me the wrong information or didn't do what they said that they were going to do. Like one of them, I haven't got any information to get to them. So I'm just like, you know, that's the unprocessed anger. That's the energy. And it is coming out. My body has to release it somehow. And so it's coming out through a cold sore. And I'm just like, okay. Thank you, body, for processing it how it was easiest for you to do so. I appreciate that. And we'll make sure we do lots of nice, yummy things for you over this weekend. So I've been out today. I've spent time with a beautiful friend of mine. I've gone and got a mat for this room because I was getting rid of the echo as much as I can. I hope you guys listening can say whether it has helped or not. There's a couple of other things that I would like to do, but I think the mat and what else I've done in here will help. I've made myself look pretty for you guys. And I've just had a really nice, relaxing day in a lot of ways. I've had a nap. I've got my yummy tea and all those sorts of things. It's like now it's time for me to really nourish my body. And so I can reduce the stress and the strain out of my shoulders. And yeah. Music in the background. There is no music. That's funny. Like literally there's no music playing. It's just me talking. It must be in your background. How cool is that? Now, did I tell you guys about my fan? Like the fan in my bedroom last week? No, thank you, Catherine. That's beautiful. So yeah, wow, thank you. Feeling that. This week to come. So you value your uniqueness. So yeah, customer service is one of my big things. And another thing that is really awesome and it absolutely helps me in the job that I've got now is my ability to solve problems and puzzles. It's not necessarily unique to me, but it's certainly a skill that I've got in amongst a whole bunch of others that makes things like decluttering and organizing when I'm doing a hoarding house a million times easier, because a lot of people look at those sorts of jobs and have no idea how to proceed. And I'm just like, oh, Rick. Yeah. Thank you, Rick. Thank you for wishing me happy Valentine's Day. I appreciate that. And g'day, lovely. To you too. Right. The next card for this week to come is to release inattention. I didn't read ahead. There we go. Move into fluidity. So with the change in from, what is that? That is, so we're going from the air sign into, I didn't say. So air, Pisces must be water. Because I know Aries is fire, Taurus is earth. So yeah, water. So we're going in, we're moving into fluidity. Water. Take time to nourish your body, nourish where you are. You might still hear my wind chimes. Yeah, that'll be the wind chimes. Maybe you can maybe just slightly hear, which is right up the front of the house. So gosh, I don't even notice them anymore. But that's cool. That's cool. It's a good thing for me to know that, because it's like there is a window right here, but I was going to put another set of chimes out the back, but that might be really irritating for you guys. So maybe it won't. It's a set that's got a much deeper sound. It's not so ting-a-ling-ing at the top end. It's more of a lower sound, and I really like them. But yeah, some people get really irritated with wind chimes. I don't know why. The last card for the week to come is transform old situations into new possibilities, let go of the past and become aware of the present. So we've got a real theme going on for this week to come for us all. Really looking at just, let's draw a line in the sand and let's keep moving forward. You know, I think it's vital that we do that just in general. But this week in particular, don't be surprised if you're getting a little bit reflective and kind of just go, and feeling yourself bringing more of that loving aspect into your relationships. Okay. So, yay, what an interesting week. I'm going to take a photo of that. But before I do, let me do a little bit of a shuffle up. So let's see, just sharing the love. It's all I can do. I'm here in pain with a swollen face from a tooth infection. Oh dear. Ooh. But fun. I can still send love to you all. Not fun. No, not fun at all. I wonder what Ina says about teeth. I'll come back to that. This will give you guys a chance to see the magic of Ina. So this week to come is about respect. Respect your beautiful bodies. Respect your uniqueness. Respect your lived experiences. Respect the fact that you are all going through this wonderful human experience. And every person, good, bad, ugly, or otherwise, has come into your space for a reason. And that reason could be good, bad, ugly, or otherwise. But they are there for a reason. They're there to teach us something, or to give us a gift, or to help shape us and move us in a certain direction. And if we can then apply that principle to everyone in our world, from the small things to the big things, it's incredible how much it shifts your perspective. And if we apply point 2 of the 4 agreements of not taking anything personally, when you see the gift of people interacting with us and how it helps us to move around the world and changes our trajectory, or like I say, sometimes the universe just kind of needs us to have a big pushback this way because we've kind of wandered off the path a bit too far. And sometimes that happens through an interaction with another person, or it's you have like a big like blow up moment in your world, whether that be a person, a job, accident, something. And it's like it's there to give us that shift in a different direction. And so if you can then approach life from that, and I'm still practicing. I'm definitely not an expert at this yet. It's a good reminder to me, though, that we are all just trying to do the best that we can, which is principle number 4. Always do your best. So for those of you who didn't catch the 4 agreements last week, there's number 1 is to be impeccable with your word. Number 2 is don't take anything personally. Number 3 is don't make assumptions, because assumptions make an arse out of you and me. And number 4 is always do your best. And your best changes from day to day, week to week, day to day, because it just depends on what you've got going on in the world. So let me just quickly take a photo of that, because I like to refer to that during the week sometimes. So let me have a quick look at Ena's skull for teeth. All right. And I wonder if there's anything in there specifically on infections. Yes, there is, 158. This is why I love this book so much, because there's just so many different elements of information that can come through. So infections are, so I hope you're listening, Rick. This, not everything that I will read out will be applicable to you, but it might give you some information as to why your teeth have become infected, or a tooth has become infected. So feeling attacked, invaded, chaotic, irritated, annoyed, threatened, and weakened, letting down your defenses, feeling vulnerable, and thinking I can't protect myself, needing attention and rest. So that's the things that are specifically attributed to infections. And for teeth specifically, it's holding on to shame, guilt, fear, anger, blame, and bitterness, difficulty in making empowering decisions, self-neglect, unresolved childhood issues, and frequent self-sabotage, feeling overwhelmed and stressed, frustrated about your inability to express yourself clearly. So there's some interesting stuff in there around all of that sort of thing around your teeth. Obviously, the emotions mostly to work with is things like shame, guilt, fear, and anger. And your colors to work with would be white and blue. So yeah, there's some cool stuff in there. and there's actually a remedy and everything in this beautiful book. I used this book to heal precancerous cells in my cervix. So it's pretty fucking potent shit if you actually follow through. And you do it. And I did it every morning and every night for a month. I had no idea about energy healing back in those days. I think I had maybe, God, did I even have I don't think I even had a set of oracle cards in that time. I don't think I even had that yet. Or I might have only had maybe one set. So I was not yet aware that I was actually a healer. I wasn't aware that I was intuitive. I wasn't aware that I had any abilities whatsoever. And the only thing I knew is that when the results came back to say that you've got precancerous cells in your cervix, I was like, this has got to be healed, but I don't think it's got. I just knew in my gut that it was something else that was going to heal this. This wasn't something that could be cut out, that it was something that I had to do for myself. It was like, I don't know where the information came from. It was not like I'd been told it, because that was not my circle of friends at all at that time. And I was guided weirdly into a friendship which led me to getting that book, which led me to finding that particular process, which then allowed me to heal myself using the process in there. So yeah. Oh, Rick recently frustrated my new love by accident and felt so guilty even though we haven't met. Oh dear. Apparently people say I've got powerful energy. I've been trying on myself, but to no avail. Yeah. Okay. So for you, I would definitely have a look at those elements of guilt, and have a look at what's underneath that guilt. And are you clenching your teeth? Are you grinding a little bit with your tension? I tend to clench rather than grind. So if I'm really super stressed and I wake up in the morning and I've got really tender gums, it's because I've been clenching in my sleep. And it's so much so that I've actually worn a really shiny spot on my teeth, which on the inside of like my eye teeth. And the dentist, when I was last there, was like, "Oh my God, that's so unusual. Look how shiny that is. You've polished it with your clenching of your teeth." I've never seen that before, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Oh dear. So the thing about our lovely, our people that we are in relationship with or whatever, we will always mirror the aspects of each other that we don't want to look at. It's a gift. What can we say? It's a gift from the goddess, a gift from the universe, a gift from creator, and it's to help us move forward. But the biggest thing is about whether we, and this is how you'll know if this person is the right one for you, is whether they are self-aware enough to go, I can see what that is. It's not about you, it's about me. And I'm going to go and process that. Thank you for bringing it to my awareness. Not always possible in the moment. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of space to be able to get to that. But yeah, I've had a bad tooth for a long time. Just suddenly decided it was time to play up. I'm 450 kilometers from the dentist with no car. Yeah, that's tricky. That's tricky. So yeah. Why can't I? That doesn't make me No, that's not what I wanted to do. This is an interesting one. Anyway, cool. So then now your guilt is nothing to do with her. It's to do with you. Right? So now you've got to process for yourself, because this is the thing. We'll bounce off each other. And you can bounce off the good stuff. You can bounce off the bad stuff. So probably not bad for all of us to do a little bit of a tooth thing. So let us do this process together. I'll read it out to you guys, and we say thank you again to Ina Segal for this process. We both strongly do not believe in twin flames, but now at the moment we're both like, fuck. Twin flames, soulmates. There's a third one, which I can't remember what it is right now. I actually did a podcast episode on all of that sort of stuff a while back. And it is what you make of it. And there is certainly elements of each of them where things will just flow super duper nicely, and other moments where it just really does not. And it's the fact of the matter is that we all have this beautiful ability to mirror to each other. And it just depends on where you're at as to how you handle it. So, karma, thank you, darling. So, yeah, karmic relationships is definitely a third one. So, everybody, focus on your teeth and close your eyes. Imagine that you have a small vacuum cleaner which is able to suck out all the density or toxins from your teeth. Observe as dense, heavy energy comes out of your teeth. And I'm going to say this for you. Divine healing intelligence, if you want to repeat it in your mind after I say it, that's cool. I ask you to release all shame, guilt, fear, neglect, blame, anger, and bitterness from my teeth, as well as all points of views, positive and negative charge, and all patterns that contribute to this condition. And then Ina Segal's process is that you repeat the word clear until you feel a shift occur. If you have a toothache, touch the tip of your thumb and the tip of your little finger, and then straighten your other fingers. Do this with both hands. And she says to do this for 10 to 15 minutes until you feel relief. Visualize a beautiful pearl-colored substance being placed onto each tooth. This substance begins to regenerate the teeth, making them stronger and healthier. So let's just take a moment to do that. Nice little shifting of energies in there. Keep doing this for a while. Let us say, divine healing intelligence, please help me to listen to my own wisdom and make healing, empowering, and excellent decisions which will allow me to experience a more fulfilling life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Divine healing intelligence, please heal and regenerate my teeth and gums to their maximum health, vitality, and well-being. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful. We can all do with a gentle top up on our teeth. So there we go. Feel free to keep doing that for the next 10 or so minutes. I can't really do card readings with it though. So there we go. The Secret Language of Your Body by Ina Segal is the book. Okay. It is very potent, very powerful work. It works if you use it. It's not going to work if you just put it on the shelf or if you only use it once. It's one of those ones that there's so many layers that go into a problem. Like Hawkeye, like Rick, you were saying, you know, if you're guilty, but underneath the guilt, there's shame. There's probably a little bit of anger in there towards yourself. There's all sorts of things. Yeah, I can understand why that's hard to do for some people. Definitely. Okay. Whew, where did I go? Hello. Thank you. Here we go. It's a very good book. Very, very, very good book. Okie dokie. Let us get into some readings because I have some beautiful people who have popped through very kind donations and I appreciate you very much. You're welcome, Rick. It's one of those things I sort of tuned in on the energy of that and I was like, no, we could all use some little tooth top up. Because as you would have heard in that process, there's some elements in there talking about speaking up. And so often people don't speak up very well. And even for me, when I was talking about the stuff with the cold sore, right? And I was, so let me just, I'll read it out to you while we're being open and clear. So cold sores, go back one page. So it's talking about feeling deprived and like you're not getting what you want, difficulty in communicating your desires because of fear of rejection, of not being liked, feeling uncomfortable, disappointed and angry. Like I said, not everything is going to be relevant to you. And this is what Ina says, like find the parts of the things that have the most energy on them, that are the most triggering for you. So for me, it was about being disappointed and angry, definitely. Allowing others to control or manipulate you and then feeling let down, frustrated and disillusioned. So there's been a little bit of that floating through my world. And then just getting like, it's very hot. When you get a cold sore, it's hot, right? And that's very much the energy of anger. And so when you look at that, it's like, okay, well, how do I work with that? How am I going to acknowledge that? It's like, yeah, I've been fucking angry because I like things to go smoothly. And so what I've done over this last week is going, I'm just Mrs. Fix-It at the moment. I'm fixing everybody else's stuff for everybody else. It's relating to me, but it's like I'm fixing it because it's come it's through something else for me. So it's like I'm fixing stuff for the landlord, I'm fixing stuff for my workplace, I'm fixing stuff for other people. It's like, okay, now can I just have some time for me? Now can I have some space for just me to enjoy being for me, where I'm not having to fix shit for everybody else right now. And it's funny because one of my friends said to me, probably about a year ago, they go, you do like a bit of a project, don't you? And they were talking about partners, and I'm just like, do I though? Maybe I just like fixing stuff, and perhaps the partner happens to be the target point at that point in my life. But it's like now I'm just like, no, my focus right now in this house is the only problems that I really wish to solve are creative ones. So I'm going to give myself projects to do that require me to solve problems, like taking an old bit of furniture and figuring out how to make it look pretty again. I've got one bedroom piece that I already need to fix and sort out. That's the sort of projects that I wish to do moving forward. I'm not here to change anybody. And certainly not a beautiful, loving person that is in my life. Like if they're in my world and I'm loving them, then just accept them as they are. If they choose to change, cool. Just accept that too. Like, and it's about being an allowance of change. So yeah, interesting times, right? So Tamara, could you please pop your question in the chat so I can have it across the bottom of the screen? That would be amazing. Let me see what cards are going to come out for you today. Oh, interesting. Okay. I think it's quite funny that the Sacred Cycles Oracle has decided to come out for you. So you said you have a very deep soul connection with quite a mission and a future ahead, but we both must keep doing the work to keep up side by side. Yes, exactly. And one of the things that, so before two relationships ago, before I started this podcast, I had some really big shifts in my world. And I had a request to the universe that my next partner be someone who is to have a partner who is in the same sort of field as me, as in spiritually minded, or at least has a comprehension of what it means to be spiritual, because I had been with someone who sort of seemed to be that way but wasn't that way in the end. They talked the talk but they didn't walk the walk, and they got really they were just starting out, and they got really super intimidated by me. And with how fast I moved and how quickly I processed things and the type of energy work that I do. And I was just in my flow. I was just doing my thing, right? I wasn't doing anything to prove a point to him. It was just I was doing what I was doing. And it ended up creating quite a big wonk in our world. Now, if I don't take it personally, if we use the 4 agreements principles and I don't take what happened there personally, I can now see it from the perspective it was him. It was his own feelings of inadequacy, and it had nothing to do with me, really. It was his thing, and that was something he had to work through. But of course, I did take it personally at the time because I wasn't aware of the 4 agreements. And so I made a big request that this person has to, like my next partner, had to be somebody who was a spiritual worker of some kind. So that even if we're not in the exact same field of interest or healing, that at least we've got that common ground there somewhere. And the next person that I ended up being with was a sound healer. And I was like, great, cool. Thank you, universe. You've given me what I asked for. But I ended up in the same position again, where the person who was the sound healer was then intimidated and not able to feel empowered by being with me, which I then took personally, because I was like, but I know how potent I can be, and I can help, even just be like your little cheer team from the side. I don't have to be involved in what you're actually doing, but I can be like, yeah, fucking go for it. Didn't work because they had their own shit to work on. And unfortunately, I was showing them that big fat mirror in their face going, you got to walk the walk too. You can't say that you're going to be this way and then in your everyday life be the complete opposite. That's not being authentic. So sitting there and being abusive and yelling obscenities at the TV because your sports team isn't winning, that's not being kind. That's not being gentle. It's not being, it's not, there's like no comprehension of your words are actually energetically hurting those people. The fact that you're sitting at home, you think that gives you the right to be abusive to the TV, to the people on the TV. It doesn't. And I mean seriously abusive. And it wasn't just the yeah or oh, it was really abusive obscenities that I know for sure they would never say that to that person's face. And that's what I pointed out to them. It's like, where the fuck do you get off saying stuff like that? Do you not understand how energetically you are literally firing arrows at those people? That's a horrible thing to do. And I just couldn't stand to be around them with their sport playing. It really messed with the energy of the house. So then my next person was like, I don't really want somebody who watches sport. So my parameters keep changing. And that's a good thing because I'm learning as I go. So, it's a big thing. Relationships are a big thing. And I process through a lot of my healing through relationships. And that's why for some people that doesn't work like that. And other people it does. We're all different. Rick, you're saying we were soul brother and sister for a couple of years overseas. She is. Then the universe flipped and we're so in alignment and similar and both goofy. I love that. You got to keep then one day, sorry, the universe flipped and we were so in alignment and similar, both goofy. Our future plan is to travel the world, helping, healing, teaching people. Cool. I love that for you. Absolutely love that for you. Now I'm in a space of having somebody who can connect with me in the softer, gentler ways. And as long as they are an allowance of my spirituality, of my healing abilities, they don't even have to be super into it, but an allowance of it, I'm fine with that. I'm good. Because I realized, thanks to those previous 3 relationships, that I'm a potent Missy. I'm a potent wheat goddess. And to have a male in my life who is in the same field as me, they're going to have to be very, very, very strong. And for them to not be intimidated by that. So I would actually rather them just be an allowance of it and go, wow, that's pretty cool that you can do that sort of shit. I don't necessarily understand it, but it's cool that you do it. And I'm good with that. And we can have other interests. We can go out. We can enjoy life together. And that will be a nice break, a nice rest for me. So I can have them as my enjoyment point in my life, not necessarily the part that will be, because I can bring other people into my world for the spirituality side. And that's good. That's good for me. Because I like getting out and doing stuff. Healing is fun. I love doing my healing, and I also know how into it I can get. But I also like getting out and doing things and experiencing this world, because fuck, it's incredible. So, yeah. So Rick says it's taken 54 years to find her. Apparently, I've known her for absolute eons. Yes, that doesn't surprise me about you. Doesn't surprise me at all. And Melinda says she has similar ideals of a partner as I do. Cool. Yeah, it's just somebody who is an allowance of and can have an appreciation of what I do, and is not going to sit there and argue with me. I don't mind a healthy discussion, but to have somebody in my world who's just going to poo-poo what I do, that's not going to work for me. That's a deal breaker, 100%. Yeah. So yes, lots of things to align on. And thank you, Tamara, for waiting. I just really needed to have that conversation. Cool. Is there anything else in this deck? No, just the one card. I had a feeling. And now we got the rest. So did I tell you guys about the fan? I forgot to follow up with that. Tony says, yes, I'm manifesting somebody spiritual, etc. Very cool. And that someone could be, it doesn't have to be a lover. I have many spiritual people in my world. Some male, some female. And I'm grateful for all of them. I have a lot more female spiritual people. And that's because when, funnily enough, the women are actually the pioneers of the spiritual world. And because of that, there tends to be a lot more women in the spiritual sector than what there is in. Rick says, I've met her at her worst. She's blown away by my loyalty to Coppet and Way. Interesting. Cool. Okay. So these cards, these Sacred Cycle cards, are really interesting cards. I don't get to use them so much, but I love it when they do come out, because what I see with them is it's a big, huge green flag to go, we're leaning into our femininity, we're leaning into our potencies, and it's going to be like, wow. So it's kind of like a big, yay, yes, let's go here. All right. So just remembering it's the Sacred Cycles deck, and the card that came out in this one, which is one I can quite happily show, nothing's going to go funny in the world, because apparently no boobs and nipples are apparently not okay to show, and some of the other cards show depictions of flow. 13 Moons is the card that came out, which is, I trust my inner wisdom. Immerse yourself in the wisdom of the old ways of tracking time. The 13 Moons calendar reconnects you to the sacred cycles within the wheel of the year. This exploration of time holds power to reconnect you with the intuitive experience of a life lived in close communion with nature's cycles. This is a reckoning of your innate power, of your intuitive guidance that has never left you. You can rest assured that an abundance of inner knowledge resides within you now, awaiting your awakening and remembering. You are being called back into harmony with nature's rhythms to help navigate your current experience and soothe you. You may find comfort in exploring your ancestry back to the ages of those who may have lived in alignment with the lunar calendar. These ancestors hold keys to earth-based practices that will help reawaken and strengthen the inner power and wisdom that so dearly wants to be expressed through you. Open yourself to the old ways and witness what magic comes through you. Your journal prompt for this particular card is, what do I know about my ancestors and what can I learn from them? So interesting, this particular concept of working with the moon cycles, which is a 28-day cycle, of course, is fascinating, because if we worked with an actual 28-day cycle, which is the cycle of the moon, we would have 13 months, and then every Monday, say, would be the first of the month. So the first of the month would be a Monday, and it would be Mondays would be the first of the month throughout the entire year. So as I was reading that, what I was seeing was, you know how when you're dealing with people on the opposite side of the world and you're having to try and do things like time conversions, what if as women we could do kind of like that concept, but with the moon cycles? And so it's like, this is the, you know, the what would we be in at the moment? So let me just move some things around. So we had January, and we were basically on the 30th of December, we were in a new moon, all right? So we are so January was first month up to the 29th of January. And so we are currently in the second month of the year, right through to the 28th of February. And then as things will shift and change as we move forward, right? So what if we as women, it's just a concept, right? This is what was coming up in my mind. we're like, okay, I'm actually going to see where my body sits, tracking my cycles via the 13 moons rather than the days or the months. How does that sit with you? How does your cycle track? And do you notice, is it time to diary note things like when the full moon happens, how's your energy? How is your flow? How is your cramping? I know for me, when I'm when my period is very much in line with a full moon or a new moon, my cramping is really severe. But when it's slightly off, like it is today, we're still slightly in the last little dregs of the shadow period. It's manageable and it's fine. It's just like a little pinch every now and then, and it's like, okay, we're good. But when I'm sitting right on top of the full moon or a new moon, oof, we are not having a fun day that day, right? So just sit with that concept. See how that feels for you. Maybe this is a nice little nudge from the universe to say, time to start taking a bit more notice of how the moon affects you, because that are literally asking you to track yourself over the 13 moons and just see how your energy goes and flows using a moon as your cycle. Kind of like that concept, as I said, of like working with somebody who's on a different part of the world to you. It's like you're still in the same space, you're still on the same calendar, but you're in different aspects of or points of views, right? So that's the first one. The next cards that we've got for you are what are you called? The Shaman's Dream Oracle. Ooh, this first card's pretty cool for you, Miss Tamara. Netcaster. So preparations come to fruition, a surprise, a result beyond expectations. I know you've been doing a lot of preparation stuff. I know you've been doing a lot of planning lately. So this is really exciting. The Netcaster arrives to tell you to stop praying for the fish. They have arrived. And it's time that you cast your net, lest they swim away. Everything that you long for is within reach, but it has been so long since your prayers were answered that you have forgotten how to receive what is being offered to you. Put down the prayer beads, open your arms and your heart to rewards beyond measure. Cast your net. Take the next step that you have been planning for so long. Remember that the fish await for no one, so the time is of the essence. Heaven and earth are in perfect alignment for your victory. The stars are positioned for success. The only one who can spoil the perfection of this moment is you. If you ask, do I really deserve this? You will sabotage the magic and shatter the crystalline flawless of the now. The Netcaster can also arrive to bring you bad news. So, to tell you that you have been snared in someone's trap and must wriggle free. I don't get that this is relevant for you right now. Right now, but I'm going to pass it on just in case. Right now, it feels comfortable enough even as the net begins to tighten around you. Do not wait until it is suffocating you before realizing you must escape and run for your life. It's still early enough to exit gracefully. Bide your time until all the conditions are right. Go to your place of stillness, of deep quiet, and watch for the signs that new opportunity has arrived. Right now, you are patient because you feel that things will go your way. Learn to be patient with the people and situations that are more challenging. So, what resonated the most for me when reading that one for you is about it's time to move. It's like you've done all the manifesting. It's now time to actualize. And the actualizations are coming, but be very, very careful that you don't doubt yourself, because the doubt will self-sabotage, and then things will move away again. So keep the faith. Keep the faith, okay? You got this. You've been doing wonderful work, and you've been doing all the preparation. Your foundation is now in the ground. You got it. You're doing good. The next card that you've got is number 28, which is the hollow bone. Teachability, humility, being empty so that the wind of spirit can breathe through you. So funny. Just as a side story. So I was talking about the fact that my house is in the middle of a paddock. It's like a dust bowl sort of thing. Like it's kind of like the winds of the desert, and but like a ghost town feeling sometimes, which I really don't mind. I like the Halloween-esque aspect to it. And my friend, who's not particularly spiritual, but she's a gorgeous soul, she has allowance for my spirituality, and she doesn't make me wrong for it. That's why I love her. And she was saying how we should get a cow's skull, or in this case, it looks like a moose skull, and we put that outside, and then we put a tumbleweed on a remote thingy that just goes past every now and then. You know, the music. So that imagery popped up for me today. So now that we're getting it in this card, I wonder what else is in there for not only you, but for me too. All right. The hollow wing bone of an eagle is a flute for the shamans. The appearance of the hollow bone invites you to become empty of your notions of who you are, to check your ego at the door, and to know that this is not about you. Interesting. Relinquish your need to be right and to express an opinion, as this will not change anything right now. You are being called to practice humility. Hollow yourself out and hear the wind blow through you and play you like a flute. You will learn the language of the squall and the storm and understand the message in the summer breeze. There is an important communication waiting for you. Humility is the swiftest path for you to become like a hollow bone. Drop all notions and titles that bolster your ego. Eliminate the doer and allow things to happen of their own accord. Remember that you can accomplish almost anything if you are willing to let someone else take the credit for it. Hollow bone has come to caution you to believe only 50% of what others think and only 10% of what you think. Trust your experience, not what you've read in the sacred books or holy texts. This will allow you to turn apparent danger into opportunity, and remember that you are an insignificant grain of sand in the grand scheme of life, as important as the brightest sun. And as important as the brightest sun. So as I was reading this, what was coming through to me for you specifically was, I'm glad you found that funny, Melinda, was really allowing yourself to expand out on the regular basis, become like the hollow bone. When we expand out, that's what we're doing. We're checking our ego, we're leaving it at the door, we're just being expanded out. We're allowing ourselves to receive the messages and allowing them to flow through you, right? Now, you've got to be that, but with your business. You've got to be the hollow bone with the business. And as you do that, you'll be able to feel with more clarity what is required to move forward, and you won't be narcissistic with the business. You'll be working in partnership with the business, and you'll be making beautiful music with the business, like the shaman's flute. And that's the message that I was getting with that one. It's like, just keep expanding out, keep practicing those tools, because that's going to give you so much more of an advantage in this new iteration of your business. 37 is the next one. Which is, it's pretty freaking potent, isn't it? It's the Magician's Sword. Confidence in your magic. Nothing can stop you, the beauty you seek. When the Magician's Sword appears, you are called to cut the cords that bind you to old thought forms and beliefs, or to friends who are not true. With the power of the Magician's Sword, nothing can stop you, hurt you, or turn you away from the beauty you seek or the goal you desire with all your heart. The sword is a tool, not a weapon, so make sure you wield it wisely for the greater good. Find the stuck places where you are kept tethered to a toxic person, a particular location, or a faulty thought or belief, and let that blade do its magic. So if you have something that is popping through your head around you and business, or you and money, or you and abundance, or you and success, you and your bank accounts, anything like that, you can use the Magician's Sword. Just go, yep, okay, that thought, cut that out of my head. I use the Magician's Sword. Look at it. It's pretty freaking cool. Like, why wouldn't you use that tool? That's awesome. You have a large endowment of magic available to you when you believe in miracles, but don't look to the heavens to grant you a wish. Look within. Use the Magician's Sword to cut through limiting beliefs, and remember that all beliefs are limiting, and focus your intention in order to create what you wish. You have all the tools you require for the task at hand. You need only to muster the wherewithal to deploy the resources you have. When the Magician's Sword appears, it is time to get moving. Again, you're getting that real, like, yeah, it's no longer sitting back and waiting for anything now. It's your team is telling you to move. This is not a tool for contemplation, for gazing at the finely polished edge. It is an instrument calling for decisive action. And remember, the sword is alive with the wisdom you can summon to help you find the best course of action. Do not hesitate. Act. Okay? So, again, this is a card that's saying, be brutally honest with yourself. Catch yourself. And when you do, when you catch yourself having any of those limiting thoughts of, am I worthy enough to do this? Can I do this? Any of those sorts of thoughts, use that sword. That's it. That's the last time I'm ever going to think that. I am deserving of this. I'm deserving of all the success I can possibly have. Boom. The Magician's Sword comes through and goes, wipes away that old one. Get rid of it. Get out of it. Yeah. Right. Very potent tool. Your team's being very, very clear. And I just had a quick peep at the next two cards. So, number 2, which is beloved. The object of affection, radical acceptance, and loving what is. When the beloved appears, it requires 100% of your heart, body, and soul. Don't try to squeeze the beloved into your schedule. Drop the busyness and receive the one you have been waiting for. Know that this card comes as a mirror to show you the divine within and invite your radical acceptance of everything you consider beautiful or ugly in your being. The beloved may not be a person at all. It might be a business venture. Funny that. A project or an adventure calling for your full attention. Love it. Let it light you up. Give it your all. Surrender to this truth and know that you are gaining a passport to bliss, even when it feels like you are being consumed by the fire of the beloved. Do not hold back or be afraid, for you will emerge transformed. Surrender is the key. Allow yourself to be loved. Usher the harsh critic out the door using the magician's sword. I just put that in there for you. And shut your eyes and ears to the judgment of others who have not been ignited by the divine blaze consuming you. For they will only attempt to douse your fire and leave you choking on the smoke. Be careful you are not seduced by false promises or falling prey to your extraordinary ability to sabotage your dreams and desires. Sink with and sink into your heart. So I'm going to say align with rather than sync because it's S-Y-N-C. And so align with and sink into your heart and trust your sense of what is true. And you will know what to do. The true beloved is never false, and every gift proffered is valuable. Recognize the many faces of the beloved and welcome them into your heart. You will be so glad that you did. Something interesting that was popping up is we've had the discussion before of separating yourself from the concept of the business is me and I am the business, and treating the business as its own entity with its own awarenesses, of its own thoughts, feelings, blah, blah, blah. And I don't mean blah, blah, blah to say that that's not important. It is important. What was interesting is as I was reading that, and I find it very fascinating that this has come up today with this energy of Valentine's Day, all of that sort of stuff, but of the more hallmarky Valentine's Day feelings. If you're treating your business like a valued loved one, how differently would you treat them? How differently would you interact with the business? Would you be kinder with it? Would you be more honoring with it? Would you do, I'm just thinking about this from a really different perspective right this moment for you. And it's like it's flowing through, and it's like, what if you essentially were making love to the business every single day? And by that, I don't mean necessarily thinking about intercourse. What I'm talking about is those really beautiful, loving moments that we have in a fresh new relationship, and doing that with the business. So it's like empowering songs that you could put into a playlist that you listen to that help you to get really enthusiastic about playing with the business today. It's like, yeah, here's our pump up songs, kind of like, the people who play sport. A lot of people have specific songs that they listen to before they go and play their games. Like, what if there's some music that really you feel really connects you with your business, and it's like you listen to that before you start playing with the business for the day, and have a think about what that might be. What might that look like? Send write little love notes to yourself that you leave on your laptop at the end of the day. And then when you open up your laptop or walk into your office the next morning, and it's like, oh, look at that. Look what I just did. Isn't that so loving? Isn't that beautiful? Thank you, business. I know it sounds quirky, but this is the sort of stuff that's coming through for you to create a really beautiful, deep connection with her. Interesting. Apparently it's a her today. The next one. Last one. The dust devil. Interesting. Which is moving. So it is embrace the chaos, trust in the process, and moving out of stagnation. The presence of the dust devil causes a ruckus. Some people are afraid of his chaotic nature, believing that he comes to intentionally stir things up. The truth is, you can't expect this dream ally to behave, to bring niceness, to be clean. His power is in the mess that he creates as he calls for you to engage in the full cyclone of life. He represents two aspects to you now: the winds in your outer life appearing to throw you off course, where you assume the world is coming at or happening to you, and the winds that churn inside you, with the dust devil arising from your dreamscape to help you escape your invisible chains shackling you to the barren desert. Stop asking for things to be perfect. Awkward, messy, conflicted, exuberant, and wild is how you shift. Trust this process. The dust devil knows what and when you require it. Once things settle, you will see the gleaming jewels awaiting your discovery, the wisdom awaiting integration. Stop trying to be perfect before you launch. Allow yourself to have the space of chaos. That's the message that I'm really getting with that one. It's like we can redo our websites 15 times or 50 times or 100 times, and it's still never, ever going to be perfect. We can redo all of our marketing stuff a bajillion times, and it's never going to be perfect. And you know why? Because you are changing. Every moment, every minute of the day, you are changing. Okay? I get it. I get that. I was married to a Virgo. I loved being married to a Virgo because the Virgo perfectionism worked really well for me too. However, there is a point where you've just got to let go and surrender and just go, it's good enough. So my Virgo ex-husband, who's still a good friend to me now, he's a fitter and turner. Perfect job for him to be in, because they're working to the hundredths of an inch or a millimeter. Like it's the finest, minutest things, right? So having someone like that in your world who perfection is everything, then having to change his perspective to going into building and doing renovations where the parameters are constantly changing because the earth literally is moving, and having to realize that actually 2 to 5 mils is okay. To go from hundredths of a millimeter to 2 to 5 mils, it was very difficult for him. So I ended up having to tell him to go. Just leave it to me, and I will call you when I need you, when I need some muscles. So, yes. But your team is telling you, so I should say, and your team is telling you, please let go of the perfectionism now. You got this. You've done an incredible job. And now it's time to release it out into the world. You can keep tweaking as you go along, as you shift and change, much like the earth, and shifting and changing with the summer and the winter and all of those sort of heat and temperature changes and the humidity changes and all that sort of stuff. You will change too. And where you're sitting now is going to be completely different in a year's time, because every session that you give will change you. Every every little bit of interaction with any clients that you have is going to change you. Whether you like it or not, it will. So therefore, the business is continuously evolving as well. Okay? So let it evolve. But for you to have clients, you have to let go of the perfectionism. You have to allow it to flow and grow. It's like, I don't know how many times I hear mums go, why does my baby have to grow up? They grow up so fast. I just want them to stay a baby a bit longer. I just wanted them to stay little, just a little. That's no good. Because what that is doing is basically making the child wrong for shifting and changing and growing and expanding and developing into their whatever version of themselves they are that day, that year. We all love to have a little bit of consistency in our lives, sure. But when parents say stuff like that, they're making their kids wrong. And so then the children are constantly trying to reestablish that level of what they perceive as love from their parents, because their parents loved them when they were babies. But now that they're growing up, apparently they don't love them as much because they wish that they were babies still some more. Exactly, inhibiting their growth. So you end up with a whole bunch of men children and women who have very limited emotional intelligence because they're still stuck trying to be little babies just to please their mothers and fathers. Don't do that to your business, please. And don't do that to yourself. Okay? Stop with the perfectionism. Allow it to be messy. Even just a little bit. Go back to your heart. What is it? There was another message throughout here. What is it that's in your heart that fires you up so much that if somebody was to say to you, you can never ever do that again, you would fight tooth and nail to continue to do it? So I can give you a very, very real example of that one. I was with a partner who had a deep passion for reptiles. And we were having to look for another property because the one that we were in, the landlord decided that they wanted to move in there. So we had to move out. And his mother turned around to me and said, and by this stage I was well and truly doing my healing stuff and all that sort of thing. And she turned around to me and she said, do you really need to have a healing room? And I looked at her and I said, yes, I do. It is the thing that gives me life. It is the thing that makes me feel connected to my purpose in this world. I said to her, would you ever say that to your son about his reptiles? Would you ever tell him, do you really need a reptile room? And she goes, oh no, goodness no. That's his passion, that's his love. And I said, exactly. So why the hell would you tell me to not have my healing space? She said, oh, I didn't really mean it like that. I just meant like maybe you could go and hire a room or something. Like, yeah, well, that's not what you said. So what is it that really gives you that fire in your belly that if somebody was to say to you, you can't do that anymore, you would go, fuck you. I'm doing it, whether you like it or not. What is that? That's your core. All right. Thank you, Tamara, for your beautiful, kind donation. That was a very potent reading from your team. I am very honoured to have been able to gift that to you. And thank you so much for choosing to come and play and embrace the readings that we are able to give through these channels. I'm incredibly grateful to you for that. And 13 moons, track your cycles. Allowing yourself the space to be in the flow with that. And in your own business, you can make your own 13-month calendar. How cool is that? All righty, gorgeous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Now, just to catch up on some of these things. Rick says, I can put my hands up at divine masculine to say, I once was a little child man, yeah. Healing journey, wow, what a transformation. Amanda says, I never said that about my babies. I also couldn't understand why they didn't know more. Probably put too much pressure on them to grow. You went the other way. That's pretty cool. So it can be done, but I am completely a different kettle of fish compared to a lot of people. But it can be done. Yes, I agree. There's always a chance to grow. And for the guys that I've had in my life previously, like, I know me being in their will has changed them. But sometimes the change doesn't happen until I leave. It's like I've basically had to be there to give them all the tools and all the examples and all of the energy to them go, and now you've got everything, it's yours. Bye. Have a good life. And I've seen that time and time and time again. And it astounds me. It's like I sit back sometimes and I go, but why couldn't you do that when we were together? I don't know why. That wasn't my destiny. Apparently I'm Mrs. Fix-It. Gotta love it. You have to want to grow. True. True. Amanda, don't you love being the one who makes them understand? And there were lessons for you. Absolutely, Rick. Absolutely. Every single relationship, there has been beautiful nuggets of wisdom and growth for me too. And I'm grateful. So grateful. Sometimes I can't always see the nuggets for a little bit, but then it pops through. Because again, I've got to get rid of my own shit first. And then I'm like, now I can see that from a different perspective and a different point of view. Amanda says, it sucks that it's normal for the next person. Yeah, it's like, there's a song that has just sort of popped through my head, but I can't remember who it was, where it was basically, everything that I helped you to be and do, it's like, now she gets to do that with you. So, yay. I hope she appreciates it. I feel grateful, like even my first husband, who I have no desires to be in contact with or anything like that. But I happen to know that he's doing his own podcast and stuff now back in New Zealand. And I'm just like, that's so funny. That's so funny. And I know that he'll be doing it on a much different scale to what I am, and it'll be music based and stuff like that. And I'm like, good on you. Good on you for getting out there and doing the things that you love. Because he was always very, enigmatic like that. So it's so cool. And there's a lot of things that have happened in my life where I go and I've taken inspiration from them, and it's cool. It's cool. Would I go? No. Hell no. I don't go backwards. I only ever move forwards. Miss Tony, thank you so much for waiting. I know it's late for you now, so if you could possibly pop your question in now, that would be amazing. And then Catherine, holy moly, Catherine. And then Christine. This is why I have to write them down, because otherwise I lose track. Amanda says, but beautiful at the same time. We are the ones. It's beautiful that that skill. It's a beautiful tool helping fellow women, something to be proud of. Thank you. I appreciate you, Amanda. Thank you. I feel very grateful to have this platform, and so remember, as I was saying to Tamara, that fire in the belly type stuff. I knew years ago that the reason why I didn't connect well with women before was because my connection with women is so great that I'd made it such a wrongness in my world. There's a reason why I grew up with two incredibly, well, Grandma Pam too, to a certain degree, very, very strong women in my life. Yes, they are a bit narcissistic. Yes, they can be a bit gaslighty. Yes, they love using guilt tripping and other not great ways of manipulating people. But their strength and their resilience and the way that they take charge in life in many ways, that was my foundation. There's a reason why I had that. And at the time when I was bringing together the relevant people so that I could be who I am, that was the best that I could choose at the time, to be born at the exact right time, at the exact right place for me. And it's funny because you know how kids go, I didn't choose to be born. Yeah, my belief is that you actually did. And I believe that it all happened way before Mum and Dad ever did the jiggy with it. And yes, the name that you have, very relevant. There's a reason. There's a reason for all of it. When I was pregnant the first time, Averly's name literally came to me out of the blue on a piece of paper that shouldn't have been there, and it was just her name. That was it. There was nothing else on this piece of paper but her name, and it had blown behind the gate of the property that we were staying in at that point in time. And I was just like, oh, what's that piece of paper? And I picked it up and I was like, holy shit, that's cool. And I just immediately got washed over with this energy of, that's my name. So glad you found it. And my name came about, like Lorene came about because my parents, when Mum was pregnant, they didn't know if they were having a boy or a girl, because, you know, they didn't have those sorts of scans and things back in those days. They were watching a movie, and my mum and dad are avid watchers of the credits at the end of a movie. And they'd watched this movie, and one of the actresses her real name was Lorene. And Mum was like, "Ooh." It was like, she was, "That's a really interesting name. I really like that name. If we have a girl, shall we call her Lorene?" And my dad's like, "Yeah, I like that name." And that's how my name came across. That's how they found my name. I'm literally named after an actress that they were watching her movie in 1977. So I was born in 78, but you know, it may have even been in early 78 that they watched this movie. I don't know, but yeah, it's so funny. So yeah, our names, everything. Oh, Tony. She just got some beautiful flowers from her daughter and a gorgeous pot plant because it's her birthday on Sunday. Happy birthday for Sunday, Tony. Happy birthday. Petra. Hi, darling. Evening, dear. I just got home from a concert and I'm popping in. I love your name. I love your name too, Petra. I love it. All right. So jumping back to Tony, do I do health questions? Interesting. Because my nostrils are always blocking up and they are clustered. And I don't know why and how I can get rid of it. Okay. Here's the big thing for all of you who are wanting to read it. Doctor has tried heaps of stuff. It's very painful, like ripped skin. If you don't do health questions, then is my team happy with the way I'm listening to them? Am I doing enough? If you can do the health question, hun, disregard the other questions. Alrighty. Cool. Let's okay. You can hardly see me because that's a big lot of question. So Tony, I'm going to answer your question as best as I can from Ina's book to start off with, okay, around your nose and your nostrils. Let us have a look and see what she says, okay? So you're saying that they're always blocking up. There's a nose, and then and then it says blocked. Can you just maybe type in there nose blocked, and then I can put that up on the thing, just so that it's not covering up so much. 164. Okay. I think the other one was news in general, which is 90. Okay, that will help. Okay. So first of all, we've got for the nose being blocked, and this kind of actually answers part of your second question that you had about talking with your team. Interestingly, it's nose being blocked is blocking your intuition, not listening to your body, not resting, needing time out. And when we use the word need, it means you're lacking time out. Your own space, feeling controlled by others, anger that people interfere in your life and affairs. Okay. So I'm sure that has a certain amount of relevance to you and where you are, given that I have visited you where you live. And I can absolutely see how that is 100% relevant. There's a lot of loss of control where you are, and that you are kind of like at the mercy of the people around you. And that's really sucky. And so for you, there's the stuff around anger and resentment and things like that. Okay. Okay. So the nose, specifically just for the nose, like well, in general, sorry, not specifically, but for in general. Yeah, your room is a bit of a train station. So looking for love and attention, not listening to your intuition, feeling unnoticed, invisible, unimportant, unworthy, feeling tired and run down and overwhelmed, propensity to stick your nose where it's not wanted and interfere in other people's affairs, being nosy, gossiping, judgmental, and hurtful. Now, not everything is going to be relevant to you with what I've just read out. It might be fully relevant, it might not be. Okay. So with this one, we're moving some of that energy already. Nice. So yes, I just checked in with the energies of it to see how much of this is to be read, and it appears that it would like to be read. So once again, we give much gratitude to Ina Segal for her body of work here, and full credit to her for what she has created in this book. So your remedy, place your hand gently on top of your nose. How does it feel? Is it easy to breathe through your nose, or are there blockages and irritation? When people have blocked sinuses, they often feel run down and want others to keep others away. How do you feel about the people around you? Many animals use their sense of smell as an intuitive mechanism. How open are you to developing your intuition and following it, even if what it tells you is not what you want to see, hear, or smell? What insights does your nose wish to share with you? I'll do the divine healing intelligence. You can repeat this, or on the time thingy, it's sitting at 2 hours and 4 minutes for this process. Divine healing intelligence. I ask you to release all the ways I don't listen to my intuition, feel unimportant, invisible, and unworthy. Please help me to let go of all tiredness, overwhelm, and constriction from my nose, as well as all points of view, positive and negative charge, and all patterns that contribute to this condition. And now repeat the word clear until you feel a shift occur. To help clear your sinuses, bring the tips of your thumb, index, and middle fingers together. Then the other two fingers and place them on your palm. So we're like this. Okay. Do the same with the other hand and hold this gesture for 5 to 10 minutes, 3 to 4 times a day. Say, Divine Healing Intelligence, please help me to connect my intuition and divine wisdom. Teach me to value myself highly and feel worthy of wonderful new opportunities that I am attracting into my life. Thank you. Now close your eyes and imagine an indigo ray of light moving through your sinuses and dissolving any buildup of mucus and other density. Focus on slowly breathing in the clean air through your sinuses and allow yourself to enjoy the experience. Then we say, Divine Healing Intelligence, please clear, heal, and regenerate my nose to its maximum health, vitality, and well-being. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. So this is, of course, working on your meridian points as well. Okay, this hand thing. And that's why if you're struggling, and like Rick, when you were saying that's hard for you, for your teeth, there's a reason why it's hard. Okay, so keep trying. Okay, when we have stuck energy in any of our bones, in any of our muscles, our cells, it's like it builds up inflammation, right? Which then makes it harder to bend, twist, put pressure on, all that sort of stuff. Okay. And so, of course, when we are targeting those specific areas, it's like, it's harder. It's like I hold a lot of energy in my hips. And when I've been doing a lot of stuff and a lot of moving, of not just physical moving like I have been, it will be, I will hold a lot of, and by moving I mean like energetic moving. If I've got a lot of cortisol running through my system, if I'm feeling disconnected from my feminine, all that sort of stuff, my hips will be very, very tight. And then my hips will start growing out because my lower back goes out. It pulls my lower back out, which then connects all down through my hamstrings, which then goes down over top of my knees, and then my knees get pulled out of alignment. So it's when everything starts getting tight, I'm like, oh, okay, we've got to do some energy healing here. And a nice little what do you call it? Massage isn't bad. So Tony said, so yeah, cool. So that was easier for you already. Keep practicing. Can't get any worse. Tony said, that was good. Wow, that's awesome. The left nostril is worse and it started clearing up already. Fantastic. But I don't mind because I get much time out here. I don't. 10 to 15 minutes is a long time, is it? Or is that just an interesting perspective? What else could you do for 10 to 15 minutes of holding that position without really thinking about it that would make it enjoyable? Interesting, right? And for Tony, yours is this one. Yeah. The thing is, it's the intention behind it as well. So I get it. Like there's a lady I knew, she's got really bad arthritis. Her fingers, she's got rheumatoid arthritis, so her fingers are literally like twisted like that. She would find it, you would think she would find it difficult to do things like knit. She still does it. How the hell she does it, I still can't comprehend, but she does. And when she had her knuckles replaced, one of the exercises she had to do was do this. And she just had to sit there and do that while she watched TV. That was how she did it. Because much like you, it's like, how can I do this for 15 minutes and not think, oh God, I'm clock watching and it's taking forever. It's all good. It's like with this show. Could I imagine sitting on the phone talking to someone for 3 hours? Not really. Maybe an hour. But I quite happily sit here talking to you guys for 2 to 3 hours. We get to do all sorts of fun stuff. All right. So I'm just double checking with your skin. So yeah, your nose for you, Tony, and it being blocked. Oh, that was the other thing. I got told this the other day. Apparently, if you've got blocked sinuses and puffiness over here, apparently, if you hold your ears together like this for, I don't know how long, several minutes, it apparently, that's funny. It does. There's something that happens between the ear and the sinus where it actually helps to drain the sinus. And the reason why I paused is because I was actually feeling my sinus draining. So that's quite an interesting feeling. So yeah, pinch your ear together like that. And you can empty your sinuses and reduce the puffiness. How funny is that? Wow. I'm going to give you a card anyway. I'll give you a yummy card. Ooh. So apparently, now we'll have to wait and see if this side's less puffy than this side. Oh dear. Oh. Well, as we know, it's ear, nose, throat. Those three are absolutely connected, which includes your sinuses, of course. So if you're changing something in here with your ears by doing that, and it opens up, that's just so cool. Fascinating. God, the body is an amazing thing. And that was from my workmate the other day, who's not overly spiritual, sort of is, sort of isn't. And they just said, oh, I saw this on TikTok or whatever the fuck it was, YouTube, Facebook, something or other. And he goes, it was truly working. Like you could see this lady was going, she was super puffy under both eyes. She did that. And then it was like, it was gone on one side. So there you go. Moving some energy around. Lots of energy around today. It was so good. Interesting. The card that you got was purification. So those energies that they were talking about in there, I shouldn't keep the page open. So your emotions to work with are judgment, criticism, hurt, and overwhelm. And your colors to work with are indigo, purple, and violet. So it's like imagining that you've got indigo, purple, violet, cream working through your nose and your sinuses. You can bring those colors in. Imagine you can smell them, bring those energies in, and just, when you're in your meditation and stuff like that, like indigo, purple, violet, it's all the purpley colors anyway, so that's easy. Even imagine, like, when you're doing this thing with your ears, imagine like there's this beautiful purple light that's coming over, like a beautiful oxygen mask. Even your oxygen, imagine that the air coming through from your oxygen is purple, indigo, or violet, or all three, and how much healing that could then give you. How cool is that? So yeah. Hi Deanne, lovely to see you, darling. So there you go. Rick says, so thank you, Tony, for your very kind donation. I'm so grateful for you, and I look forward to connecting with you again and crafting possibilities. And Find You Fridays is so grateful for you, for your continued support for the show, for me, for this community. You guys literally are keeping the show running, and I am so grateful for that. All right. Rick, have you heard about cloves? Oil of cloves is very, very good for toothaches. I remembered it before when you went away. Put a warm compress on the neck behind the ear at the side of the toothache, and apparently it takes care of the pain receptors. And oil of cloves. It's something that we do for babies. So, yeah, there's that. Catherine, my darling. Oh, hi, Jamal. Oh, thank you. So for those of you who are wondering who Jamal is and why I've gone, so Jamal and I went to primary school together. So that will be coming up. Let me see. I moved when I was 6.5. So it would be, nearly 40 years ago. It'll be 40 years ago we've known each other. Jeepers creepers, Jamal. It's been a long time. So yes, get some cloves, oil of cloves onto your tooth. I'm loving seeing your creations that you make, Jamal. It's so cool. And are you still doing like the care work and stuff like that these days? Because I know you went into that industry for a little while. It was an industry that I was in for like 6.5 years, and I absolutely loved it. Thank you, Rick. A most pleasurable evening to you too. Have a good sleep. Just waiting for Catherine's question for when she pops through. Yeah, it's so good, isn't it? Disability support. So I was in what we'd call a in-home disability carer, and I did everything from basic, community access right through to complex care level 2, where the clients were unable to do anything for themselves. I got trained in things like emptying colostomy bags, to doing bowel support, to doing oral suctioning and tracheostomy suctioning, gastrostomy, peg feeding and medications, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so I got to do a really wide variety of things, and I loved it. It was so good, and I still actually have contact with a couple of the my clients that I was with for the longest, because they couldn't, you become like part of the family, and they just couldn't bear to see me never be in their life, and they're like, please come back and have coffee and come and see us and chat, and I'm just like, okay. So yeah. Thank you for your question, Catherine. Okay, questions. A Doberman dog? No, I've never owned a dog. That's pretty special. I wonder what that means. And I wonder if it's a Doberman from another lifetime. That feels quite relevant. Not in this lifetime, no. I've never owned a dog in this lifetime. It wouldn't surprise me if I've managed to pull one through from another lifetime. But I have had dog energy around me all day. Like, I've had 2 different dogs. And funny story, I was with a client, a cleaning client, during the week, and he has a cat. So not a dog story, it's a cat story. And his cat is female, and apparently she hates other females. Absolutely can't stand women. And she will basically leave the room, or she'll sit there and hiss at them, or she'll bite them, or that sort of thing. I'd done the majority of the work that needed to be done, and there was still plenty of time, so I was able to sit and have a bit of a coffee with the client. And this cat just comes up to me and is just like purring at me and bumping me on my legs with her little, like, just rubbing up against me and stuff. And I'm just like, hi there, Cleo, how are ya? And the cat's just like, hi. And I was just like, and the owner was she hasn't been like that with anyone. This is really weird. She like almost never meows, and she's already like purring and meowing at you. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm a different beastie. I just got a different vibe. When I met my friend's dog for the first time today, she was like, just warning you that the dog might bark at you. And the dog didn't bark at me. Not once. Not even a little like, yep, nothing. My granddad did have a little dog, but no, it was a cat that you're thinking of. That was Comet. So we had Twinkle and Comet. So Twinkle was a black cat, and Comet was a grey, long-haired tabby type cat. And yeah, very fluffy. So that would be the fluffy thing that you remember that was attached to us. So certainly not a Dalmatian. Oh dear, that's very cute. So yeah, I've had a lot of animal energy around me the last couple of days, few days this week. Interesting. So yeah, just to have a cat that really hates women just going, purring up on me, rubbing up on me, getting her energy all over me. It's just like, rightio. Cool. And there's another card coming out for you. Where are you? I can feel you. Where are you coming from? Okay. love it when the energy is moving. Moving. It's one of the interesting things about doing my disability work is I actually started doing my disability work before I started really leaning into this side of me. And I will definitely, I'm going to write it down, so Dalmatian, and see what pops through after the show. So thank you for the message, Tony, and I'll certainly follow it up and see what comes forth. So disability work. The interesting thing for me is that during my time with disability, I developed my psychic side. I developed my intuitive side to a much greater degree than what I had before I started that industry. And one of the things that it really, really helped me with was my ability to communicate to nonverbal clients, because my time in Doberman, and let me just jump back up. You could be right, Rick. Hang on a second. There we go. Doberman. Maybe you just correct my spelling. Okay, cool. I've got it written down. Okay, I'll definitely follow that up, and thank you. And so I ended up with a couple of different nonverbal clients, and being able to develop my almost like telepathic type abilities was so helpful. Yeah, I get it. Doberman. I don't even know anybody with a Doberman or a Dalmatian for that matter. There we go. I'm glad you guys are all paying attention. I got the D right. That's all right. I introduced someone under a completely different name today. Oops. Then I realized later, and I was like, oh, whoopsie daisy. I just called that person Phil, and it was supposed to be Wayne. Maybe that's supposed to be a Phil. I'm not always great with names. Just saying. Oh, Amanda. Jeepers. Oh, Amanda, I'll save it for next time you're on. Okay? So you go to sleep and you'll be first cab off the rank next time. And I will make sure. So I'll just write that down. You're pretty amazing, but you only did, yeah. Let me just check that one. Yeah. Cool. Thank you for your donation, and I will definitely save that one for you for next time. And I love you too. One of the funniest moments was there was a girl that she was 15 at the time, and she was wheelchair bound a lot, and she was completely nonverbal, but she could scream. She could kind of laugh, but yeah, it was mostly just a scream or some slight sort of grunty noises. And her name was Sophia, and she was sitting in the lounge room watching TV while I was preparing her meal, and I just thought this one day, I went, I wonder if I can actually connect with her psychically, like telepathically. And she was turned away from me, but she could turn towards me pretty easy. And so she was kind of like positioned sort of this way, but she could turn to see me. Anyway, you get the point. And I just went, hey, Sophia, in my head. I just went, hey, Sophia. And she like turned to me and she looked at me, and I said in my head to her, yes, that was me. And she's like, you could see her eyes go like this, really excited. And she just went, and she was reaching out and going like this. And I went, and I said in my head, no marshmallows right now, because that was her signal to get marshmallows. And she went, I said, because you've got lunch coming. And she goes, and then she went back to watching TV. Everything was said in my head. And I just went, oh my God, that actually just happened. Whoa. And that was one of the first proper moments of me leaning into my telepathic side. And when because we rely on speech so much, we don't necessarily develop our telepathic side. But when you're working with people who are non-verbal, they don't have the gift of speech. So they're actually sending us telepathic messages all the time, and we just aren't receiving them necessarily. And it's super interesting because I look at all the times, like even babies, they send us messages all the time, and we tend to receive those because we're on the lookout for them. But we don't actually recognize that they are telepathically sending us messages. We just go, oh, I can interpret their cry. No, you can interpret their cry because you're actually hearing their telepathic message. So yeah, and then there was a gentleman that I was looking after who was completely non-verbal as well. And we had many a good conversation around how he was functioning with his body, his health, and because I was spending a lot of one-on-one time with him too, and it was a beautiful, he's such a beautiful soul. Still alive now. Sophia is not. She managed to choose her way out at 16. But yeah, so very fascinating. And again, so grateful for them showing me part of my capacities, and how them doing that actually helped me to be an even better kinesthetic healer, because then I started to trust what I was feeling and perceiving through my body to an even greater degree. So that's pretty cool, eh? Righty home is Catherine. We have an interesting... The first card that came out for you. Night, Melinda. Have a great weekend. Try not to work too hard. Be kind to your body. Big hugs to you too, and catch you next week. Just to address the young lass who chose her way out, her life was a life of often restraint. She was tied into her motorized wheelchair, where she was not allowed to move about because she was too strong. She would break things all the time and cause a lot of harm. For her sleeping arrangements, she was in an adult-sized cot that went all the way to the roof because she would throw all of her bedding out of her bed. Her clothing, she was dressed in a onesie that had to be zipped up the back, not up the front. So she was wearing it back to front because she would rip out her gastrostomy peg, which is her feeding tube. If things were around the other way. And of course, if she rips that out, she has the chance of an internal bleed and dying. And so the only times she really felt any freedom in her life was when we would take her in the van on the school holiday time and she would get to drive. We would go for a drive somewhere. She absolutely loved that because she loved that feeling of movement, and she hated being stuck at the traffic lights, absolutely hated it. And I would take her to parks and I would get her to get out of her chair, and because she could crawl, and so I would make a point of sitting several meters away from her chair. I'd take her tray from the front of her chair, I'd unbuckle her from her chair and then let her crawl down, and I would go over, I would wait, and I'd be a few meters away. She would then crawl over to me, and then I would get up and I'd move to another spot. So she was getting a bit of exercise as she moved, until she got tired, because she had so much energy in her that she would just get really angry, and she would bite and she would pinch, and it was not uncommon for us to walk away from her with bruises on our arms, where she'd managed to catch us with her fingers, and she was just very angry to be in the body she was in. And the sense that I got from her was that she was somebody who, if she didn't have the conditions that she did, she would have been one of those kids that was into every single sport you can imagine. She would have been on the track and the netball team and all of the running type sports. She would be into every single one of them. But she chose the body she chose for whatever reason. And so she ended up choosing, through a very weird set of circumstances where I can see how she chose it. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't an accident. It was very much, she was waiting for that perfect opportunity where she managed to, when she was actually at respite, and she crawled to the bathroom when she wasn't being observed, and she was supposed to be observed 24/7 when she wasn't in her chair or in her bed. And the staff had walked away from her, and she knew that they had walked away, so she crawled into the bathroom where they'd been doing showers and stuff, and there was a latex glove within her reach. She walked in, she crawled into the bathroom, shut the concertina door. And this is how I know she did this very, very methodically. She'd planned this. She knew exactly what she was doing. And she grabbed that glove, she chewed it, she swallowed it, she choked, and she died. And when I was told that had happened, like I said, I was already into this world. I was already into working with entities. I was already already going this way. And I instantly got a message, I could feel the anger from the family. I could feel the sadness and all the rest of it, because the family rang me to tell me what had happened. And almost instantly, her spirit came through, and she was saying, I'm free, thank God I'm free. and she was so unbelievably joyously happy. And I was sitting in the middle of these two energies going, I honestly don't know how to feel about this. I don't know if I'm meant to be happy for her or sad for the family or just relief. I was really confounded. There's so much more I could say about that stuff, but I'll leave it for another day. For now, Catherine, hi. All right, Catherine, the first card that came out for you was Look in a Book. So let's see what the fairies have to say, because I was like, there's another card floating around and I'm not sure what it is. And this is the one that came out. So it says, whatever your question right now, you'll find the answer in a book. The words you find will bring the insight you seek. The fairies are saying that the guidance you seek is contained within a book. Look around right now and pick up the first book you see. Hold the book against your heart and say, fairies, turn the pages in this book for me and guide my fingers to the words I require to see. And now close your eyes and randomly flick through the book, allowing your finger to come to rest somewhere on a page. Read the words and see if they resonate with you. If your finger lands on a picture, try again until it lands on text. If the words immediately seem relevant, take them on board. If they don't, write them down and sit with them for a day or two. Be patient and their meaning will come to you. You can also ask for the meaning of the words to be revealed in your dreams. Before you go to sleep, write the words on a piece of paper and place it underneath your pillow, saying, fairies, these words I place beneath my head reveal the meaning while I lie in my bed. In the morning, write down any dreams you can remember, and then be patient as the wisdom from your words filter through your waking reality. The card may also be a reminder that reading a book would be good for you right now. If there's one that you've been meaning to read for years, now is the time to do it. The fairies may also be saying that a book could prove a valuable gift for someone else, as it may open their mind to other ways of being. So there we go. That was your extra special side message from the fairies. The next cards that we've got for you are from Ina's Secret Language of Your Soul. And the message is from your team. Rest and review your path. Assess what is and isn't working in your life. So that's a pretty obvious one. Within what you have going on in your world right now that you've had that beautiful experience once again of going to Bali and seeing how they live and enjoying the company, it's a really beautiful time for you to have a look and see what is and isn't contributing to your life right now, and having the courage to let go of the things that are no longer serving you. This time, this week especially coming up, is going to be a really fabulous one for letting go of things that are no longer serving you. So, and I'm feeling that that's hard for you. And it's okay that it's hard. Okay? But it's time. It's time. Because at the end of the day, what you have to really look at is, if I wish to reconnect with these beautiful women, what's holding me back from doing that? Are my possessions holding me back from doing all the things that I would like to do? And it's interesting because it's not until you start letting go of things that space is created in your life, which you can then bring new energies in. And I know that from personal experience, from that big moment last year when I let a whole bunch of stuff go. Like, I let go of probably about 12 cubic meters of stuff. And it was a lot. And by doing that, I was able to welcome in all sorts of new things, new concepts, new energetic concepts, because they take up space. I was able to welcome in some new possessions. I was able to welcome in some new belief systems. And it was so cool. I was even able to welcome in some new friendships. And I'm grateful for that. But it's not until you start letting go of the stuff that this can happen. The next card that you've got is make your life more interesting and explore the unexpected. So I'm getting a sense that this is to do with your beautiful people. Sorry, Tony, I did just notice that you said good night. So good night, Tony. I hope you have a lovely weekend and a great week to come. Thank you so much for coming to join us here on the show. And I love you too. So back to this, making your life more interesting. People make your life interesting, good, bad, ugly, or otherwise. Please explore the unexpected. You might find that these beautiful women that you have connected with on your tour in Bali, you will get to reconnect with them if you allow yourself to reach out to them. You have to have the effort, put the effort forward to be able to continue those relationships. It's not all just a one-way street. It's how often do we do that thing of, oh yes, we really must catch up, and then nobody does a fucking damn thing about it. All right? So I totally get it. In that year and a half that I had been up in Mount Barker, my friend who lived in Hahndorf, which is only 10 minutes away, only saw me a handful of times over that year and a half. And I mean, maybe 5 times. And there was a point there where they're like, we saw you way more when you were living in Port Adelaide than you were now that you're living only 10 minutes away. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm fucking exhausted. And a big part of that was my work, my travel time, all of that sort of stuff. But also there was just so much stuff around me that I didn't have room to breathe. I didn't have room to allow my brain to be calm. So I was just physically, emotionally, mentally exhausted all the time. And there was nothing I could do about the stuff because it wasn't my stuff. So yeah, just giving you some lived experience stuff, examples is the word I'm trying to find. The next card that we've got for you, Catherine, is explore your feminine aspects, flow with life. Now, the card the interesting thing about this one is that this one is reminding me of our beautiful feminine flow, literal flow, monthly flow, and how we literally shed the unwanted stuff from our bodies, from our uterus. And I know you're past that now, but it's that we as women are very, very good at letting things go, all right, and going with the flow, the literal flow of our bodies. We can be very much in alignment with that, or we can fight it to the bitter end. And when we're fighting it, quite often that's a sign that we're sitting in our masculine rather than our feminine. So this card, given that it is brought up for me that imagery of our periods and the shedding of that life-giving cells. We can do that and have done that throughout our lives. You can do this. And then you can have the space for your friends. You can have space for all the amazing, beautiful things. And you can have space to have people at your home. That was one of the big things for me of living where I was living, is that there was no space for people to come to me and enjoy time with me outside of a healing room. Having people come over for a cup of tea or anything like that, I couldn't do it because there was literally nowhere for them to sit. And that was tough for me because I like having people over. I like being able to enjoy their company and sharing my incredible tea collection with them, or just having a really decent cup of coffee and having a chat and all that sort of stuff. So this podcast for me was vital for that year and a half, because I was connecting with you all and I was connecting with people, even though I was sitting at home. Now I've got lots of beautiful space. Everything has a home. Everything's in its home. Everything is just like, it's organized, it's tidy, and it feels good. And now my brain is like, yay, I can go out and I've got space to be with people. I've got energy to be with people, because all of our possessions hold stuff, right? So, your next card is accept loving support. Let yourself be held. So I'm seeing this as another indicator that your team is saying, yes, you will reconnect with the women that you met on the tour in Bali. But it's up to you. It's up to you to allow yourself to be loved. Allow yourself to be held in that sisterhood and continue to be held in that sisterhood. I think I saw one of the pictures there where you were receiving some healing, or there was something happening. It's just popped into my mind. And I just thought, gosh, you looked so peaceful. So much bliss and peacefulness. So, yes. And it's up to you. It's still up to you. Okay. It's a lovely fairy card. It's in a book. Tell you one thing I'm really looking forward to is being able to sit and read a book again, just for the sake of it. After I've caught up with all my cups of teas that have been missing for the last year and a half. Forgiveness is your theme card. It's your yummy card. The forgiveness of self. And whatever forgiveness is required for you to be able to create space around you to welcome in these beautiful women moving forward. Yeah. I can say, honestly, Catherine, you have a big, beautiful heart, and it is time that it is shared with many others. And I love the fact that you've been given that possibility to see what is available to you through your trip to Bali, and the gentleness of the Balinese people. I love that for you. Yeah. So thank you so much for your very, very kind donation. I am incredibly grateful for you, Catherine, and I'm looking forward to seeing where you go with this process and how you grow, shift, change, develop, bringing in these beautiful women into your life, and just seeing you be even more outrageously gorgeous than you already are. So thank you from me, from Crafting Possibilities, and from Find You Fridays. I'm just so, so grateful for you and your continued support. So thank you. Look in the book, look in the book, look in the book. I love it. All right. Yeah, you know what picture I'm talking about, don't you? You can. It's there. It's there. Absolutely gorgeous. All right. Christine. Hello, Louise. Okay, let me jump back up and find Christine's question. Oh gosh. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's just re-establish. Show me yes. And show me no. Thank you. Cool. So truth will estrogen benefit Christine. Truth will estrogen. Sorry, let me ask that question in a different way. So truth, what will it create in 100 years' time if Christine takes estrogen? Interesting. So that's a no. So truth, what will it create in 1,000 years' time if Christine takes trace estrogen? So we're going round and round in circles at the moment. Come on, settle, please. Okay. Truth, what will it create in 1,000 years' time if Christine takes trace estrogen? Okay, let's ask this in a different way. Truth, does Christine believe Truth, does Christine believe that trace estrogen will benefit her? That's a no. That's why she's asking the question in the first place. Okay. Truth, is there something else that Christine could take to be able to assist her with the transition away from estrogen? That's a diagonal, which is sort of like, this is my pendulum's way of saying either diagonal or going round in circles. So round in circles is I don't know. Diagonal in this case is kind of like, yeah, sort of, maybe. Interesting one, right? So what was really coming up for me, Christine, as I was doing that for you, is there's a lot of resistance and reaction in your world around going into perimenopause. Good luck with your tour tomorrow, Greg. Enjoy. Thank you for your interaction tonight. I'm super grateful to have you here, and I always enjoy our conversations, so thank you. Have a good one tomorrow. So Christine, there seems to be a lot of resistance and reaction in your world around going into perimenopause and changing of your hormones and how all of that happens. So what if you didn't resist and react to it so much? What if you could ask your body for more ease? What if you didn't buy into the society's way of thinking about the change of life? What if there is some easier things for you rather than looking towards supplementing your body with hormones that are actually not needing to be there anymore? Just interesting possibilities for you to consider. Yeah, there's nothing in here about that. Okay. Let me see. So Ina Segal, I'm going to bring her out for just a moment. And there's a section here on menopausal problems. So menopausal problems crop up because of any or all of the following: fear of aging, feeling unworthy of love and attention, feeling sorry for yourself, fear of not being attractive, rejecting your feminine side, feeling useless or past your use-by date. Okay, so I actually get with you, rejecting your feminine side is a far greater issue. And perhaps, just maybe, if you were to connect with your feminine side in a far greater way, perhaps going off to some kind of in-person class or group or something like that, that will really help you to be able to have a bit more ease with your menopausal stuff. Okay. All right. So Christine, thank you very much for your donation. Thank you. So grateful for you. I think tonight, my beautiful ones, given that we have actually done a lot of little healings throughout the night, and that you will have had lots of little supplemental stuff, I'm just going to take you guys through a very quick expanding out, because I love to do that with you, and just to remind you that that is something that you can do on the daily. And just a quick breathing exercise, and then that'll be it for tonight. Okay, so close your eyes, take a big deep breath in, and breathing out. Breathing in, bringing Mother Earth energy all the way up through your body. Breathing out, bringing Father Sky energy all the way down. Breathing in, bringing Mother Earth and the unconditional love all the way up your body. Breathing out, bringing the gratitude for everything and everyone down with the Father Sky energy. Now expanding out your awareness, out beyond your body in a big bubble up into the sky and down into the earth. Expanding out your awareness, out beyond the size of the country that you're in, out beyond the size of the planet, beyond the solar system, beyond the galaxies, beyond the universes. Now focusing on your body once more. Craving that sense of allowance and expanding that out. Expanding out your sense of allowance beyond your body in a big bubble up into the sky, down into the earth, expanding out your sense of allowance. Beyond the size of the building that you're in, beyond the size of the country, beyond the size of the planet, expanding out your allowance beyond the size of the solar system, beyond the size of the galaxies, and beyond the size of the universes, and beyond your awareness. And just right now, in this moment, this 10 seconds, I'd like us all to send beautiful unconditional love out to all the versions of ourselves throughout all the lifetimes, dimensions, realities and non-realities. Sending the unconditional love from your heart through their hearts. With the unconditional love, it is literally that. And if those versions of yourself require forgiveness to be able to receive the love that you are now giving them, please say, I now forgive you. And you're forgiving yourself. Whatever it is that is preventing you from receiving this unconditional love from you and through you, from Mother Earth, Father Sky, from the universes, from creators. Beautiful. I trust that whatever you do in your week to come, you will treat yourself with continued kindness and gratitude and appreciation for your uniqueness. Please get out there and do something tasty for yourself over the weekend and beyond. And in the meantime, Please be bold, be brave, be you, my beautiful friends. And until next week, I adore you. Bye-bye.